Alright guys, we're going to show y'all, we got our inner fenders cut here for the shock tower. This one pretty much all bolted back in. We're going to cut some of these long tabs off and stuff we don't need. We had to do a little massaging to clear for the radiator right here, but all came out good. This one pretty much similar, cut out around the shock tower. Front came out pretty good. We had to do a little, let me get over here. We make a little cutout for the computer plug. My brain is not working this too early this morning. So we're gonna box that in a little better once we get a test fit of the plug to make sure we don't have to clearance it anymore. We'll box that in. But anyway, starting to fit, starting to look like an engine bay. You know, we got enough coverage of fenders to protect what we don't want to get nasty, and this is the inside of this side. Good morning. His coffee hadn't kicked in yet either. So anyway, that's where we at now. We're gonna do a little more massaging and playing, and then we're gonna we'll call that good and move on to the next step. All right, let me see what we got going, or we're gonna get started on it, and we'll get back to y'all in a minute. I don't know what the hell he's heating and beating over there, but he's wearing the hell out of something. And he's down here. Watch out, Mr. Bolt. Come see. Hey, say hey to everybody. Bolt. Alright, Bolt ain't into it. So he's boxing in this little bend down here and fixing his bracket. And I'm in here trying to figure out how to get these brake pedals. If you look right down the center, you can see the brake pedal is right where the steering column has to be, and this is a stub shaft coming through. So we're going to have to do a bend like this on the clutch pedal on that. So I already got the clutch done, and we got it in between this wiring and clearing the PCM. So that'll work. Put that down out the way. Hopefully that's going to clear, and then we'll see what goes on with heating and beating this thing. So let's get into it. So we got our pedals kind of straight. We got a little work to do here, and this will be bent, but this is probably going to get elongated anyway. We'll have to see, but it's clear the steering column anyway for right now. This is going to have to be chopped and assembled, but we're not there yet. Alright guys, we're back under here, and what I'm trying to do is get this U-joint squared away. We got some final fitment issues we want to do. So we got this all pushed in through the floor and ready to go. And we'll get the bolts started so everything's seated good and we can see where things are gonna be happy. I got this collar locked in up here on my line from the other day, and we just want to see if things are gonna stay the same, and looks like they will. So I'm gonna have just a little bit of gap here, and we're gonna have to cut this tube a little bit. Not really, that's going to the steering. And I'm just trying to eyeball everything and see what looks like it's playing happy with what. Alright, so this may not need to be cut. The other day when I measured this, I'm going to pull this steering out. The other day when I measured this, we were all the way up to here, but we moved a few things. So we're just kind of marking up. I trust eyeballing stuff a little bit more. Like, I'll measure, but I trust eyeballing. I know we got to move this brake some more. Alright, so that's going to give me about a 1/4 inch. But we're just trying to make sure that we, before we start cutting everything, we accounted for all the variables. Okay, so that would be about close. Alright, good morning guys, welcome back to the Bayou Diesel channel. We got this little thing here, I'm going to show you what we're working on. So we're fitting, let's put that right there for now. We after a lot of fiddling and marking the steering column here, let me zoom out, hang on. Alright, that's a little better. So this little mark right here, we marked it and cut it. The mark is for right at the yoke, so that'll be pretty much our height, and that'll get us to our U-joint down there and get us off of the floor. So what I did is I put this on, measured it, cut it, and then we marked 16 inches here, which we're going to get into why that's marked a little later. But anyway, let me show you what we got. So on the end of the steering column, and this is this is the column, this is the steering tube, I guess you would call it. This is still hitting the floor. Now with this, you can see we got an issue here. So this is a piece of steering column. We're going to press a bearing in, and that'll eliminate that. But the problem is, this is a piece of the steering column which is bigger than the bearing. And then this piece that we cut is a piece of double D steering shaft that came off of the old steering linkage from the 96. We're going to turn down this other bolt, which we know won't fit in it. And I've already mic'd it. So that's our ID right here. And so we're gonna have to shine that one up a little bit. So we're gonna use this one. I'm gonna cut the head off of it and turn it down a little bit thinner. And I think what we're gonna do is leave these threads on there. And this is so close to the same ID. As a matter of fact, I can show y'all, this is a piece of the steering tube off of here. And the ID is right there. It's close. So I think we're gonna use the threaded portion as an insert to keep it stable. We'll weld around here and then we'll cut the head off, and then the bearing can sit on this smooth area here. Keep it in frame, man. I'm looking at stuff on the table and trying to show y'all what we're doing. So trash that one and put the other one on. Alright, well, we got this little bearing set up in here and a little cup down at the bottom. I gotta try and keep lined up. Alright, let's see if this will go in. Alright. And I think we're going to go in a little further. We'll get our socket. Yep, we're going to have to go up a little more. Deep enough. I'm going to take a break here in a minute and show you guys exactly what all we're doing. Marking this up, but I don't want to go too far down with the way this is. So for right now, we're going to pause and try it out. Alright guys, let me show you what all this chopping and cutting and grinding and pressing has been about. So we got our outer sleeve here. We put a bearing in there, and that bearing is going to center this shaft from being able to flop around. And this shaft needs this cut-off bolt. And I don't want it to go all the way down in there. We're going to weld it like this, about right there. And we'll weld around here. Alright, so this was a little loose in the hole. So I put a zip tie in there just to kind of jam it in, and I was trying to make sure that my mark from earlier was correct. So we're going to weld this in, and then we're going to be able to take this over the top. This just has that race that the spring sits in right there, and we're going to be able to slide this over, get her in there, and we got plenty of threads to pull it down, and this gap down here closes up, so we need a 1/4 inch, and we got a 1/4 inch, so that's what I was after. So then we're going to have a spacer plate here, which is going to tack on the left and the right, and then we have our thrust bearing, which is going to go on, and then we're going to have this nut, which is going to create us a little jam. So we're going to, we don't have this all the way seated yet. Let me pull this down and tighten this up. So we got something like that, and then this is a piece of double D stock, which is round on two sides and flat on two sides, and I got it kind of beveled, so that's going to weld up here in this nut. And what that's going to do is it's going to lock this nut in, right? It's going to lock this nut in by my thumb, welding it to the shaft. And so anytime this will be, we'll have to cut this off if we got to change it, but we'll be able to undo the U-joint and do all that. It's just whether we have any issues with the steering column itself. So that's going to be it. So we'll be able to pull the spring taut with the jam nut. The jam nut rides on the doggone, I can't, the thrust bearing, and then this will weld on the top, and that'll be a wrap. So we're going to get into putting that together, and then see, go back and mock it up in the truck. Alright guys, so we got our mark. We just took these vice grips and set them where they'll hold this. We're going to put a little tack and start putting this together. We'll see if I can't let's see if we can't get that going. Let's see.
Alright folks, if I'm being honest, I'm not sure where I left y'all last, but I'm gonna take a gander around before it gets any deeper. We got our fuse box mounted, Got our ID mounted to that. Some kind of bracketry. We got our under the hood harness kind of splayed out here, as well as our under the dash harness. So as you can see, that's our pass-throughs. And then for my next trick, I'm working on the PCM bracket, how that's gonna stay in place. On the factory setup, I think it bolts to the sidewall here. Obviously that's not an option, so we may come off the top, but you'll have to wait and see.
Well, that's what you get for not paying attention and the battery going dead. So we got this welded up right here. I'm gonna back down and show y'all what we got going on. I had to grind this nut down a little bit, thin it out to get a better landing to weld our part on. Okay, so we got white lithium grease there. We got this welded onto the end, and then this slides over, stabs through here, and that nut will pull down our spring. Now this is the thrust bearing, and it's solitary, stationary on this side and turns on the inside. So we're going to put that face down so that the turn is here, which will turn with our shaft. And I have ground this down because the thickness of the nut was allowing a little recess kind of like this, and it wasn't letting my my other pieces in the vise. And I meant to show y'all that welding this up, but battery issues. So we're just going to snug this up. This is seated all the way down, and I'm going to put, or over there on the vise, I've got our little double D adapter, and I tacked it on there. It wasn't quite right, so I'm going to redo it. And then we're going to weld the nut to the shaft to the adapter. And so later, if we ever have to take this apart, we're just going to have to cut that nut off because the adapter is not the right size to go through all the bushings. But I think we'll be all right. I don't think we're gonna wear this out. But anyway, I'm gonna set y'all up on a tripod, and we'll tack this in place and see if we can get this pretty well true and weld it in. Well, that's as fast, that's as good as I can get it. I think she's still got a little lean this way, but after tacking it and knocking it off by accident 10 times and then getting it on there, it's as straight as it's gonna get. I don't really, you know, with this being a different size than this, and this having 2 or 3 profiles, it's just hard to get a clamp situation where this can hold plumb and square and whatever. So it's as good as it's gonna get. And if we got to, we may have to turn this and buff this down a little bit for the U-joint, but we're gonna go in the truck and see if it fits in there and see how that works. Let's see, I know you guys are probably just as ready to get this damn brake pedal moved out the way. Get it right. Get in here. Make it right. Let's see. Let's cut this, cool this down a little bit. I'm gonna check under the hood, make sure we don't have no smoke. Alright, that's cool enough. We're gonna bend her back straight. We're still gonna have a crooked foot pedal, but see if we get it away from the shaft a little bit. Alright, let's see. Alright, let's see if we can get this under here, get this bent over. Alright, that's perfect. Alright guys, I'm gonna blow this cool, and no need for y'all to listen to all that noise. Alright, now y'all want to see the product of quite a bit of fabricating. It doesn't look like it, but we had our bolts. That was an old bracket on the firewall, and we tied it into this, which ties into the upper pedal assembly. I'll show y'all. This ties into the bottom of the dash. These bolts back up, the squirrels are bombing us. These tie into the yoke, and then this is a section of the tube for the steering, chopped off and mitered at an angle to support the steering wheel. And this is all, a lot of this was just bit by bit, and a lot of it was through the miracle of our technological program, our CAD program, which is cardboard aided drafting or cardboard aided design. So yeah, people wonder why stuff takes so long when you're putting things together that weren't meant to be together. Is, you know, how do you explain this piece to somebody, you know? And all that's doing, I'm gonna show y'all. Y'all seen bits and pieces of this, but you know, the yoke down here holds up the steering wheel, and that arched piece is gonna come up to the front. I'll show y'all when we get it on. And then our upper piece mounts back here, and then ties into the pedal bracket, and then ties all that into the front of the dash. and then ties it into the steering wheel, just to support everything from the pedal assembly, giving it more rigidity and giving the steering wheel more rigidity, because it would just travel through this yoke and go straight into the gearbox on the 57, and the gearbox would hold a lot of it. This was just supporting it to the dash, but we got rid of that, and we have a telescoping setup down here now, so this has to support itself. So we had to give it a little bit more structure. So that's what we came out with, and like I said, it's kind of an interesting piece, but it looks like it's gonna work. And we're gonna, I don't know if we're gonna do hose clamps or some kind of band clamp or something on here to attach it to the steering, but anyway, it took a little doing. I had to cut this apart once and change the angle of the dangle a little bit, because I had to put the seat in, and you know, we got the steering wheel supported up here, and get the height and the clearance to the dash and all that. A lot of petty little nitpicking stuff, but now we're making some headway. So let me get this back in and I'll show you what we did. I trying to film it in here, you know, you get hands in here, y'all can't see. So I showed you the bracket, and I'll show you it in, you know, it bolting there, underneath the dash here, and back to this. Again, we may just temporarily secure it with hose clamps until we find some heavier duty stuff. All right, let me get it back in. All right, guys, we got our yoke back in there. I'm gonna change these bolts out. I got some new ones, but basically you can see from the picture of the vise, there's our firewall mount, our pedal mount. Back here is the 3 bolts mounting into the dash. The 2 bolts are mounting the yoke. It comes around here. We're gonna change these 2. We still got to do our pedals. We're going to drop them down closer to the floor and move our accelerator, but we got a seat mocked up, and I just put a hose clamp on here for now, which may end up staying the same way, because it's got that steering wheel on lockdown. So we'll have to visit that again and see how that works when we start steering it. All right, guys, this is our roof issue. We've showed you a time or two. And I'm testing out a theory. I've got this little tool here, which is a magnet, a double magnet with a copper plate on it. So I'm basically just taking this thing and moving it. Just take it out. You can see the welds burning on the copper. And all right, so you can tighten this thing up. You got 2 swivel magnets, and basically just line the copper head up. I got this thing all, I'm sorry, I got this GoPro in my hand. Let me get this tight. All right, so you got to leave it a little loose so it's not in a bind. Let me see where I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna put it right over this. And I'm gonna slide it down a little bit. I'm gonna loosen this up so this front magnet will grab. All right, let me get this on it, two-handed. Put y'all down here. That roof is kind of hot. All right. So basically I'm covering up with the copper plate a couple of holes, and then get up on the ladder here. So this is the top piece, and you can see our copper plate underneath here. So I'm going to set y'all up on the far side here, and we're going to just, what I've been doing is I kind of clean this, and I don't want to get too aggressive. We use some sandpaper, a wire wheel, and a Scotch-Brite on a little grinder to kind of knock the rust off. and we got a ground in the cab. So I'm just gonna come and just stitch where the copper plate is, and then move the copper plate and keep on going. So let me get y'all set up where y'all can see, and we'll see if we can't make something happen. Okay, let's get y'all, need to be looking right there. All right, let's see if we can. And so it's been doing pretty good. I got the temperature low and the wire feed real low, and we're just trying to start on some thick metal. It kind of, you know, pie plates down or dishes down, and there's some real thin areas too we may have to visit one way or the other. But the goal of this for me, I don't want to cut out a whole hole and have a shiny repair. I want to try and keep the body as rustic looking as we can. So I did these three, and we'll go here and do a few here, and then I'll kind of time lapse some of this, I guess. But it's just moving the copper plate underneath here, and the copper plate does a couple of things. It supports the liquid part of the weld, liquid pool of the weld, and it also sucks the heat out of the weld really good. And it's a chilly morning this morning, so you know, I'm kind of using that to keep to cool my puddle real good, so we don't have, you know, it doesn't have a lot of blast throughs and blowouts and whatever. So anyway, we're going to start right here. All right, like I said, all this has been kind of wire wheeled, so I'm gonna get a fresh cut, and then we're gonna see if we can make something happen. Now, I'm not too worried about anything other than trying to get some meat built up. I know this is rusty, but if I get in there and clean it really well, like I did this one, it starts to open it up, and I'm trying to keep the hole size manageable. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. I'm not advising it. It's just how I'm trying to tackle this. If we totally screw the pooch on this, we'll cut it out and replace it with a piece and try and rust it in. But there's a lot of dents and dings on this hood. It's not, it has a factory shape, and then it has some, you know, some foot depressions and some butt depressions from over the years. So to get a patch shape to make it work is going to be a pain in the butt. So if we can just patch these and get it watertight, we're going to be good. So I'm just trying to get a little weld on here that I can work with, and then build on that and walk it across the copper. And all I'm trying to do is just you know, again, get a piece of weld and work across it. Try and get all of this concave stuff done. Alright, so let me show you what we got. So if you remember where we were, our copper plate is underneath here and underneath there, and then it kind of dead ends here, and this is open hole. So we've kind of filled those in, and then we're going to come lightly with the grinder later and just try and take the humps off. Even if it's a little bumpy from the weld, that's fine. It'll fit in with the look we're going with, like that. Main thing I'm after is just to fill in a lot of these pits and try and get it waterproof again, because I think what happened here is there was probably a big butt dent right here, and leaves and whatever got on here, made a mulch, and then because it was a depression like a little bowl, it just ate up this whole area right here. You can see all the pits. So just trying to fill it in and make that work. So instead of y'all watching all of this slow tack stuff, I'm gonna keep on going with it, and I'll come back to you in a little bit.
Alrighty folks, what y'all looking at is the original hole that the steering linkage passed through. It had a rubber boot, and that's gonna be a little too high for our application. We're gonna go through this port here, which is where we've been going through, but I've since covered it up with a floor piece. Now if I take y'all over here, this is the aforementioned boot that is not going to work for our application. I did take a piece of a door, and we cut this 2-inch hole out. I think what I'm going to do, let's see if I can set y'all up here. So I think what I'm going to do is weld this to where we want our steering linkage to pass through. So it'll be somewhere around here. We'll have our U-joint on our steering wheel side. We'll use our rubber boot up until they have a hard portion in here with a bushing. We'll use that section through here with our as a pass through. So I'm thinking something like that. See if I can extend them. So that's one thing to consider. Sorry, the GoPro don't have a real good field of angle for some reason. That's one thing to consider. This is supposed to be fixed, and this is supposed to extend. So we're gonna have to get this portion just right where we want it, and then click that into place. So we'll have to drop the cab one more time here and I'll just clamp this section up for now. We'll see how that works for us and go from there. What's up, folks? Welcome back to the 1957 project. Right now we're still kind of in limbo in the bay because we don't have our steering. That is the bulk of today's project. I at least got my steering shaft coming through the firewall here. We have our telescoping shaft from the 96.
Alright, I'm gonna touch on this when we get back, but we tried fitting this seat as we're trying to get our steering column and our pedal locations finalized, and this bucket seat ain't doing it. So we're gonna go rob a seat out of Bullet and try it. So I'm gonna walk y'all over to the boneyard and we'll see what we can do with Wing Bullet on this side. We got to do some tire swapping with it too. So it's gonna rain for a couple of days. We're gonna move it while it's dry. I'll come back to you in a minute when we get to the boneyard. All right, Tristan's pulling Bullet forward here. Bolt. Ah. We're gonna get to the back of him. Just keep on going straight for a little bit. Everybody likes to see my old girl in action. Hell, we like putting her in action. All right, back up a little bit. All right. So we're gonna fish him out. It's funny, I don't know if we got the footage on getting this truck, but they had pulled the bottom of the bumper out and it was bowed up in a V, and we put our J-hooks under the bottom and we lifted up, it almost bent it straight back. So it might be a salvageable bumper, but in case anybody's wondering why this truck got the nickname Bullet, that's it. So we're looking at this seat right here as a possible fit on the 57, and I'll show you a little more about that in a minute. So what we're gonna do in order to hook onto this truck, let's see, let me look and see what kind of hookups we got here. It ain't looking like much options back here without bending the bed. I don't know. Let's talk this over a minute and see what we're gonna do. All right, guys, we're changing plans. We thought about coming on the bottom, but we're worried about bending that up. So Tristan said he wanted to go through the stake pockets. So we're gonna try that. That's a new way. We've not moved them. Usually I'll grab them by the D-rings, which this truck doesn't have, or back here they usually have some kind of hitch. And now will that short chain work, or is it gonna be too short? All right. So we're gonna try picking it up from the D-rings, and I mean from the pockets here, and see if that works. We don't want to damage the little bed. I just basically pull it as tight as you can, and then that way we don't hardly have any slack, and hook it, and we'll pick it up there. So yeah, well, that's what we do. We just leave them in neutral. A lot of the automatics have hitches, so we can just grab them in the back and pick them up. And you gotta watch them. They'll swing around on you a little bit, but they usually do pretty good. We got the gin poles a little far back. We get on the side, and that way the angle of the dangle kind of keeps it away, so they don't want to bump in. You still gotta watch them so they don't bump into each other, but sometimes they get to doing a little swinging. But yeah, back to Bullet here. We got a few little issues with the seat. Has some bullet holes in it. The doors got bullet holes in it. I'm hoping the PCM Doesn't have a damn bullet hole in it. It's got an old 6.9, got some bullet holes here, a couple of exit wounds, back glasses busted out. We picked this old girl up for a couple $100, and it's got a 6.9 in it, and that's the grandpa to the 7.3. So we're gonna learn some 6.9 IDI stuff and see if we got a motor that might be usable either on this truck or for a rat rod. Hopefully the steering wheel will stay straight and not cock on us. Boat! And we'll bring it around to the shop and put her in bay 3, because we're gonna rob some. I want to use these steel rims. Hey! Keep an eye on your front wheels. He's gonna turn and get up over here, point that nose in, and back her in. We're gonna go over here and flag him. Might have to hold the steering wheel. Hang on a second. See if y'all can hang out right there without falling while we get this. Sorry about that, guys. Had to do a little two-man and get her in here kind of straight. I'll let you look at the winch while I get this unhooked. So, as I was saying, we're thinking that the skinny back of this seat may help us out with some of our cab issues. So for today, we're gonna sweep out the rat crap and the busted windows and the carnage leftovers. See if we can make us a safe spot to pull this seat out. And then we'll unbolt her and drag her over. We might have to, I don't know if we're gonna be able to salvage the, do we know if this door even opens?
Yeah, you gotta open it from the inside.
I'll get it. So some bullet damage has happened to the, good Lord.
They hit the seat a few times.
Anyhow, we got our seat moved. Tristan had all of the steering column all clamped and mocked up into place, and he got up in there, and this bench seat is actually fitting quite well. We're underneath the window, so we got plenty of room back. The only problem is back over here by the driver's seat belt. The normal lower rods are busted out, but Tristan had this all mocked up, and I came in here like a bull in a china closet and messed his thing all up. And the clamp came loose, and it was just one of them things. We're gonna come in with the steering column like this. I'm gonna put a bearing at the bottom of it, and there's a wear spot at the top, so we'll buff that out later. Sun too bad.
Yes, sir.
Alright.
Roger.
Look, come over here and get a little close up on my big sexy ass. You recording? Alright, that's gonna bring the numbers up.
Yeah.
Alright guys, look, we were looking at this. I marked this out the other day, but we're trying to figure out where the stack would look best. Excuse me, Mr. Boat. Go chew on your butt somewhere else. We had originally kind of put them in real close, but with the skinniness of this cab, we weren't digging it, so we liked them further out. But we know they're gonna stick out here because we got a narrow top part of the cab, but we're trying to decide how proud at the widest point. So we're gonna do that. Instead of, I tried measuring and it just wasn't working. So we're gonna eyeball it, which works the best. So let's get this pipe and let's see if we can't get it over there. Oh, come on, you. All right, we're gonna look at that and see. Oh, you're gonna die right there. Now, is that too?
Wish the GoPro would stop timing out. All right, check it out.
Kind of look down here. I'm digging this, but is this too proud? Do we need to?
I'd say an inch or two. I don't like how you can see air between the cab and the exhaust.
You stay right there. Try and get in the shade of this with the GoPro. That way the sun don't get on the screen. I'm gonna bump it up. You tell me when.
That's plenty. Yes, sir. It's not bad.
I like that. I think I like having it.
This is some of the behind the scenes footage y'all normally don't get to see.
Well, this is just us scratching our heads because we can't figure out how it's going to look with a tape measure.
Definitely.
Do you like this? I mean, that's a little close, you know, but it's just for mock-up.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have a little gap. But that wrap around, or should this be like, I think this is looking better.
Let me look at it. Yeah, some of this.
I think I like the top of the pipe, the fit around the cab, and I like it being hidden on the side a little like that.
Oh yeah.
I think if we go skinnier,
Let me look at it from the back.
now what I was kind of thinking, yeah, that's about where I was thinking, because let me look at it. I hadn't looked at the back either.
And I suppose that wouldn't make a big blind spot. Like, it's way past the mirror.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so, because
I'm way back here. I can still see the mirror.
well, I mean, that's just for shits and giggles. Let's do what we talked about before and kind of go in. What you think about right there?
Yes, sir. Let it come back. Yo. Oh, bruh. That's
that
not
the
half
ticket?
bad. It's not half bad
Oh,
either.
bro, that's starting to look better. I'm digging that a little better.
Yeah.
And I like that because you're behind the cab, so yeah, you're not gonna have a dead spot in the mirror. You ain't gonna have a dead spot in the back glass.
Right. Let's look at it from the front.
Ooh, Bolt. Starting to look like something, Bolt. I think Bolt's starting to think that this might be a truck.
Oh, dude, it's completely hidden from the front. I mean, except for the 2 feet sticking out the top, you can't even see it.
All right, so you digging that better?
I mean, it may use a little tweaking. I mean, we could finagle with it
Well,
just to where. Let me
do we want to tweak in or do we want to tweak out?
maybe a little bit out.
All right.
See if we can get another inch.
I'll tell you what. All right, let me do this.
Yeah. Okay.
You wouldn't think
That's
that,
that's
you wouldn't
lining
think
up.
that a half inch one way or the other would
Yeah.
make a difference.
That right there is just about lining up with this body line. This flat right here,
Yeah.
lining up right here.
It's lining up with the top of the gas cap.
Yeah,
rung,
yeah.
And it makes it a little proud.
Mm-hmm.
So you digging that better than more in?
I think maybe like a little half inch in, and I can't complain.
All right, well, let's do a half inch in then.
Okay. See what that looks like.
No, I mean, this is the process, dude.
Yes, sir.
You know, I like this better than tape measuring because, you know, nobody's, you know, when people look at the truck, they're not coming at it with a tape measure to say, oh, this should have been 3/4 of an inch, you know.
Yeah, it's got to look proportional.
It
And
either looks cool or it doesn't look cool.
yeah, that's a good point. I don't know if anything about this truck's proportional, but
So
I take that back.
is
It's looking damn good.
pretty much, that's a half inch in from that little indented body line on the back.
Uh-huh.
Not that that means anything aesthetically, but I'm trying not to get in the viewer's way too much, but I gotta
No,
look
you
at
go
it.
for it, sir. I'm just getting some B-roll.
What you think?
I like it, man.
I mean, we can try it further in or further out. You know, it don't take but a second to move it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of thinking that I don't want to go any more in.
Yeah.
And I kind of think I don't want to, like, if you go any more in, you're losing that bulldog stance.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go any more out, you're getting in the way, possibly, of your rear view.
Yeah, I was trying to see by matching this plane here.
Just turn this on. Sorry guys, we kind of got to moving stuff and we wanted to get y'all in on this. So we kind of started looking at this body line by the window and how this round would react with this round, and again, just nitpicky stuff, but I'm kind of digging the fact that up until the top of the door, it's kind of hidden. Because if you make it proud at the bottom, it's gonna look like some big, not that it don't look like hillbilly redneck stuff now, but it's really gonna look like putting Peterbilt stacks on a pickup truck, you know? It's too much. You know, you can't go any bigger than all field casing, you know?
Yeah, it's pushing it.
So, all right, I think I'm digging that, dude. All right, so what we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna put us a mark here, and that'll be our width. And do we want to put the other one, or do you think we good with just figuring this one? I mean, if we put the other one, well, we can't really draw it. I could draw it, or at least mark it out, and then get my measurements off of that.
Yep. If you want to secure that one.
All right, we're gonna come back to y'all in a second. We're gonna see if we can't secure this so it doesn't fall and kill nobody, and pick up the other one, and we'll do the whole thing eyeball.
We just do the other one with the other voice. All right, sir.
Let's go in with it. You need to set it down a little bit. We'll move. Go kind of eyeball, and if you need me to go up, I can go up. Just kind of figure what body line you need to line up to, and we'll match it side to side.
Going off the mirror bracket. Or that little bracket would be.
We over this a little bit, huh? On the other side? Let's see. Yeah, you're right. If you line up the pipe, the disc, and this body line, that's perfect. So let's see what
Where that hole in the door is.
Yeah, just have to go with the holes. Is this one perfect, or do we need to come out a smidge? I mean, we're pretty damn close.
Well, could you put your finger where the hole is in the door? I'm trying to look at the body.
Yeah, it's this line right here, and this, and then that. I can hold that up. Look, why don't you take this and show the peeps what we're doing with that reference. You might have to do it on the passenger side because of the sun.
Alright guys, so we're basically looking at this body line where the fender meets the rest of the cab. It's pretty much right in line with our mirror hinge. And I think that's a pretty good happy medium. Let's see, we'll get these flip windows in.
And then I'm gonna mark centers.
Let us know what you think in the comments.
Alright. So what I'm thinking is, like, see, I got this mark here, so we know, you know, we just, whatever that measurement is, we'll make our arch.
Build off of that.
And that'll be our max width.
Cool.
And then we just have to center it on there. And I got center mark here, which is the center of the frame. And that's kind of, it looks pretty much right. So if we mark center and base our arch cutoffs here,
Yeah, that's it.
you know, and redraw that like that, then that's bingo.
Alright.
You know.
Cool.
And then I think what we're gonna do is come back to this rivet, slide it back to where it bumps the rivet.
Nice.
And that should get us enough, you know, give us a little wiggle room on the cab for the next time we pull the cab off and all that. And then again, guys, we just gonna come down here later with we're gonna get us a 90. I think that's 3 inch or 3.5, I don't remember. But we'll get the right appropriate 90, and we're gonna come in the bottom of this with the exhaust, and then it'll feed the stacks. And before we get, while we're drawing all of this, we got to make some miter cuts.
I'm interested to see how this thing resonates, you know, with all them like,
I can't really tell you, because the first truck I did stacks on was like this, but it was a thick wall 3x6 rectangle tube.
Yeah.
With 1/8 pipes, and then when the next one we did the winch truck, and that is a Y pipe, so we don't have the resonation.
That's
of
what I'm
this.
saying. I think that adds a lot to it, you know.
And
just
then I
hitting
don't
that
know what
hard
these
corner.
little paper thin oil field casing pipes are gonna
It might.
sound like, you know.
Yeah, this is quite the what they got in the big churches, the organ.
Organs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just,
Maybe that's what we need to do is cut a little chut whistle thing in like the organ.
oh, bruh.
Alright, I'm digging it, and we digging the height, right?
Yeah, I mean,
No need to, I mean, other than, no need to shorten the height.
I think you could always go shorter, but no need to go taller.
Well, we got a little project going today. Just a quick little update. We're still on the roof here. Let me get a shot from inside. Still working on these pinholes. Our little magnetic copper plate is holding good, and they're welding up. We kind of did a little 30 minutes of fiddling around up there to make sure we had enough thickness of roof to work, and we do. So got that going. Also, I'll go around and show you guys, we've been mocking up a few things. We been working on getting some wiring harness in. We still got pedals to deal with. We're not going with this whole cluster, but we have it mocked up right now just for a test run. And the reason we got all this getting mocked up for a test run is what we're working on over here, which I haven't done in a while. I did it on the Puerto Rico truck, but this is a 5-inch, I think it should be 5. Yeah, so we got 5-inch square tubing and 5.5-inch oil field pipe. Don't ask me, I'm half crazy, and y'all should know that by now. So I don't think this oil field pipe is gonna rust out. It's a little bit on the thick side at almost a 1/4 inch thick. So the idea here is we're going to take the 5-inch square tubing, and we're going to cut it. We're going to have a stack on each side, and that square tubing is going to sit right here on the frame behind the cab. So that'll bring our stacks to the outside. Last time I did this, and I could do the same thing this time, I just last time I did this, it was square tubing and square tubing. So we just cut, traced a hole, set it in there. But because this is 5-inch and this is 5.5, we got some overlap right here. And with that thickness, we'll be able to weld that up. But anyhow, what we're going to do is we're going to torch cut this. I don't need these holes, and I don't want to have to fill them right here. Had some kind of pin configuration. So basically, we're going to torch a radius here. Get everything in the camera. I'm trying to look at my finger and look at the camera. And then we're going to drop it down here, and we're going to leave this bottom and cut all of this off so that this will set down in there, And then once that's set in, we're gonna cut, which I need to mark out right here, a little box. And that'll be our, you know, how our exhaust gas comes up in here, comes over, and then transitions up. So I'm kind of marking this out. We got some bandsaw cuts to make, and I'm trying to decide how much of this I'm gonna torch cut. Probably gonna torch cut this, because with the weight of these pipes, I don't know what they weigh, but it took 2 people excuse me, last week we mocked them up with a smaller piece of square tube and a little skinnier setup, and we didn't like it, so we decided to widen it out, because that cab is kind of skinny, so the wider look gave us a better look. But we're gonna recess these down, notch them, and I think what we're gonna do is do a miter cut on the top instead of having it straight. I'm on the fence about that. But anyhow, we're gonna mark this up. I'm just kind of trying to see how the layout is gonna work. And then being that these are, as I was saying earlier, gonna be, you know, fairly stout, it's gonna be stick welded on here, so there's no need to get too precise with you know, cuts from the bandsaw and that kind of thing. So we're gonna draw it up here. We need to carry it over 66.5 inches to here, and I got to double check to once I get this up, I got to double check and make sure everything's gonna sit right. But yeah, these are some pretty heavy pipes. You know, like I said, it's 5.5 by almost 1/4 inch thick, but I think it's gonna give us a real cool sound, and it's gonna give us a real cool look. So let me get a couple of more things marked out. What I'm gonna do is basically take the inner idea of this, which we could pretty much call it 4.5, and then we'll mark center here, and we'll draw it up. And I may just wait, I may just draw that on there and minus it 1/2 inch. But again, this will be sitting on the bottom, slid into this arch, and then inside we'll have as big an opening as we can and still weld everything. We'll carry it out over here. We're going to chop this off and then do the same thing on this side. So let me get a few more things done, and we'll make some cuts.
Alrighty guys, we're back here on the interior. I got all my inner dash stuff just shoved up on in here, trying to get around the wiper arms and everything. A lot of this isn't going to be utilized. Shoot, a lot of this on the 96 was dummy plugs. But anyways, my issue right now, I have this going down to the engine bay, and it's connected to this wire, which our fuse box and ignition box is on, and I really can't get enough the wires are so, this harness is so stiff, I can't get it up above the plane of the dash, and I really don't want a modern fuse box looking at you, you know, every time you open the door. I think what I'm gonna do is just peel back this loom just a little bit and try to get some more slack out of these wires. That's the whole purpose. We're keeping the old steering wheel and everything, try to keep it original as far as on the dash. Minus the digital cluster there. But we'll get it going, and I'll update y'all as soon as I get some progress. Alrighty guys, here's a little update of what I've got going on. Excuse the noise. We got the 6-inch oil field casing in the bandsaw right now. So the fuse box, we're running out of light here. Fuse box is gonna hopefully mount recessed under here. I really don't want it visible, and I went ahead and took it off of its bracket, and we made a custom here bracket out of some galvanized sheet metal, and I found some wood screws that are the right pitch for this plastic, and I'm gonna try to see where I can bend my metal, see where it needs to be bent rather, and y'all can basically see where we at with that. Alrighty guys, last time we spoke I was trying to get this fuse box mounted in here, and I'm still trying here. Let's see if we can, something like this. I wanted to make sure that our fuse box wasn't hidden in the back, or none of our blinker relays are okay. It's not too bad.
You're supposed to say action.
Man, I don't even know what to say.
Alright guys, so we did our cut on the first one following my executive orders, and we left this kind of flat, and it looked goofy as hell. So we cut the other one, and by accident it did a true miter cut. We put them together, we liked it, so we decided to recut one, and we had a smidgen of height difference. So I mean, you look across there, and if that ain't close enough for you, I don't know what to tell you. Actually, I do know what to tell you, but it's a kid-friendly channel. So that's gonna be our smoked stachiols.
Them little hypodermic needles.
And then you can see right here, we went, earlier when y'all were watching us mark everything up, we were 57¼ inches width between the stacks. And then this is gonna fit in there. We'll weld it all the way up, trim off the fat, and we'll have some stacks. So
I'd say, and then some.
we missed catching the drops on the bandsaw, and this, like I said, y'all saw how we were gonna draw it out, so I didn't think it was worth sitting there watching torch cutting. And Tristan's been doing wiring, which is why he's acting half crazy today. So anyway, we about to wrap it up, but wanted to show y'all that it's getting ready to get dark, and we'll pick this up in the morning and see if we can't finish grinding this piece on the bench behind me and mock up some stacks, weld them up, and then lift the whole shebang and put it on the truck. So that's where we at. We'll see y'all in a few minutes, which will be supper and a nap for us, but about 3-4 seconds for y'all. So again, we just left the bottom and let it stick out. We'll trim this around there, but I want to get this in and kind of get it situated. So I'm gonna use my other chain fall on this side to pull the casing, and I have it strapped in a way that it hangs vertical. So we're gonna bring it out to here and then set it in. Let me pull the I-beam over. Let's see. That ought to work. Alright, so we're going to turn this. And we'll see if we can line our center line and that line up. And then bump it down. We'll put a little weight on it. Okay. Of course, I figured we way out. I'm gonna try moving the beam just a little bit and see if that settles it in. And we may have to use some ratchet straps or something. We haven't. This is not a perfected means of doing this yet. All right, let's see. All right, so we overshot a little bit. Too much over there, so we're going to try moving the beam back a little bit. Alright, so what we got is, as I'm tightening this bottom ratchet, it's clocking my line up between my two verticals. It's probably close enough to do what we got to do, but I just assume go ahead and get it right. I've got too much junk here hanging in my face. Alright, so we got this thing lined up. What we want to do is we want to mark it, and then we're going to short it a ½ inch and remark it again. So alright, so now we got an opening that we can cut open. So now we can open this up, lay all this back down, and we can torch cut that. And I may or may not do the same thing or mark that one off of this one, I don't know. So we're gonna go ahead and unhook our ratchet strap. And we can pick this up just a little bit. Alright. And I'll roll them in a minute. And then I'm gonna pull them that way and cut them on the outside so all the mess stays out the shop.
Alright folks, we're getting to a point where we're gonna see about running this truck. I'm getting our PCM mount in place right now. And we'll start to just get all the vitals in order to where we can try to start them up and run them a little bit. As far as I know, that's just batteries, little auxiliary fuel tank, and like I said, just enough to see what we got. I need a little silicone. Alright, let's see if she fits. Kind of a tight weather seal there, that's what you want. We'll go ahead and plug them up from the underside. In case y'all wondering what this is just the wiper motor switch from the original 57. And try to integrate that somehow. Alright, we'll update y'all when we got something else. Wonder if I should hook up the gas pedal. The original 96 gas pedal, the wiring harness came from underneath the dash on the front. Ours we have tucked up kind of way up underneath it, so we'll have to extend our gas pedal pigtails a little bit. As well as deal with this octopus here. But got our OBD2 inertia switch, and we'll go ahead and get some batteries just set up on some timbers on the bottom there for now. No radiator, no AC, nothing auxiliary.
Alright. I decided I'm gonna overshoot a little bit and do 3/4 instead.
solenoid, rob all the ground bolts off of the OBS cab, and some I had to drill a 5/16 hole. Like this one here, I'm gonna have to drill a 3/16. So I'm just kind of sizing all that up. And bolts actually taking a nap. That's a rare sight. Kind of a rainy, dreary day today. We're not even gonna talk about what's going on over there right now. But I'm just working on getting all the wiring routed. It's actually falling into place really good. We got the headlights coming down this way. We're gonna hardwire the sealed beam headlights, of course. And on this side, I kind of had to eat up a little extra foot of cable. I kind of brought that down this way, and I'm gonna use one of these holes that's already drilled for our push pin. Probably this one over here. And this is the ground I'm working with right now. I'll set y'all up. Alrighty. So that, I know this is probably dumb, but this is a 7/32 bolt. I'm gonna be drilling a 3/16 pilot hole for them. These ground bolts, they do have flutes on the bolts, but they also have a backer on the Ford chassis, on the cab, I'm sorry. And I'm also drilling this into a place that it has a double wall. I'm gonna make sure I land where it has somewhere to go. I thought that was our brand new drill bit, but metal's a little thin right here. I made sure to clean off the all the surfaces. If I can see where y'all are facing. Yeah. This is our interface. I wanted to leave this in case we needed it for the radiator hoses or anything like that. It might come in handy. Other than that, we need a starter solenoid. I'm thinking it'll go somewhere on this. Oh look, we got 2 holes for it right there. Perfect. So that'll be our glow plug. Man, it's like Ford from the, I guess from this era all the way, I don't want to say present day. They kind of went off track in my opinion, but it's like they totally evolved one product into what they have now. So it's kind of crazy that that lines up. Anyways, we'll keep plugging away, and hopefully we can rig up some batteries and a temporary fuel situation and go ahead and give it a crank.
All right, guys, we are getting ready to move and mock up this welded up, fully operational space station for you Star Wars nuts. So we're just gonna mock it up and clamp it on the truck. I still have to come in over here once I get a 90 for the 3-inch downpipe and mock that up, mark it and cut it. But I gotta look at how this is gonna look on the truck. So y'all just kind of stay with us here. We're gonna pick this up and start moving it, and we'll try and remember to bring y'all along with us. Bolt, you need to get your cameraman certification, Dave. Is this what?
Rocket thrusters you can plug in.
Yeah, these are the rocket thrusters, you know. When this baby hits 88 miles an hour, you're gonna see some beep. Watch your hand, because that side's hot. You know what I mean? All right, before you start a project like this, make sure you've laid out an adequate amount of trip hazards so that somebody can crash. It's usually gonna be you. All right, let's get this up. We're gonna travel out a little bit, and we're gonna bring it down and travel with it down. That way, if we have a calamity, it's less calamity than before. All right, sir. Yeehaw, let's go. Guys, I'm gonna move the camera for y'all here in just a second. All right, sir, we brought this back around a little more. Hang on, let me get it up and start turning it. All right, pull it a little bit. All right, we need another foot or two. There you go. All right, pull a little more. All right, hold. All right, I'm coming down. Hold that end up, you know, like you're gonna go right up against the cab, basically, boy. And we're gonna line this up with that. Okay. Need a quarter, got a 1 inch. All right, where we at? Double check your center line, and I'm gonna clamp it. Oh, it's starting to look like a little something now.
The frame mount, the frame tab, the one would be wide.
Oh yeah. This is what I've been looking for right here. That's the look I wanted with the thick old pipe. Let me get up here where y'all can see.
I looked at it in the back.
You can see the miters. Y'all can kind of see what we got going here. It's just gonna sit on the frame. I got some trimming and grinding and whatnot to do there. And then right in here, you'll see the 3 inch, which is gonna be 90'd into the bottom. And we're gonna make some plates that's gonna go outside the frame, be welded to the 4 inch, and that'll bolt this whole assembly onto the frame with some 5/8 inch bolts. Let me come up here. We're gonna put a little closure on this hood a little bit. Tristan's been working on wiring and all that fun, so we're gonna just lower this down a little bit. Oh, but you know what? We got to have under the hood light.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna have to put some growl. All right, guys. I don't know if y'all can see it that great, but that is how she's gonna look. We wanted it tucked in tight by the door, and then sticking out as we go up. Give us a little behind the cab. Yep. As far as I'm concerned, nailed it. All right, guys, we're starting back on this exhaust this morning. In order to hear the old girl, we got to tie her in. So we got this 90 and this, I don't know what you call that, a butt connector, I guess. And we got to get under here and figure out where this is gonna go. All right, guys, we got our double butt connector, I guess you call it. I don't know what the hell they call that thing. Getting cut. And the sharp piece is going to be the piece that we weld onto the bottom of this. And then once that's out the bandsaw, we're going to cut here. And this mark is just where the pipe starts to do the radius. So the pipe we're cutting is going to only come down to my fingertip, be like this big. And so we just need a little bit extra so we don't, this all would all be sticking out in the 5-inch. We don't need that much, so we're going to cut it here. And we have, let's see if I can show you. I know it's getting noisy, but y'all bear with me. We got that. You can see the bolts up there behind that square piece where we got a flange. So that gives us some up and down right here. And that's what we need. So let me get these cut and I'll come back to you. Alright, let's see if that's in the picture. Alright, we got our little flange piece back here. See, out of the screen a little bit. We got Fanfare sneaking in, trying to get in the camera time over there. So I want to get like that. And what we're going to do eventually is this piece will be tacked to this so we know it's at the right angle of the dangle, and we can weld it in. And so we're going to get that going here in a second. And then let's see. We want to leave enough of this hanging out to get a good band clamp bite on it. And then this 90 is going to slip up in here, and it should be able to slip way up in there. That's what I want. Alright, and then we're going to come over here and try not to knock y'all over. And we're going to put our, we got to put this and that together. And we're going to slide this back. I'm just hooking this little flange up. I know that's probably out of camera, but that's that little 2-bolt flange. We're just trying to get it up, and that way we're going to tack this and probably tack that. So we're going to mark this, and that is right on, and that could, if we needed to, come down. That will clamp, Okay. All right, put a couple of tacks on this thing, and we ought to be golden to take that out and finish welding it up. All right, let's see. All right, guys, we about to make something happen. Anytime we see Uncle DeWalter's big 400-pound mag drill come out, it's getting ready to get real, and I'm getting ready to put it on the transmission jack because I'm gonna be drilling sideways into the frame, making a 5/8 hole. So what I did, I didn't get this on camera. Battery went dead yesterday, and I was working on it. So we got our this is a 4-inch wide 5x5 angle iron. I'll show you the upside down version, but basically it's going to go on like this, but on the bottom and give us some 5/8 bolt holes to the frame. So I got these done, and I mocked it up on the frame. I took the 5/8 bit and made some dimples in the frame so that we can line up the mag drill, and just wasn't feeling playing with this last night, so I'm gonna put it on the jack stand. Y'all saw us drilling with the mag drill when we did our cab mount bolts on here, but anyhow, we got all of our I think I showed it on time lapse. We got all of our exhaust down in there mocked up and hand tight, so that's all playing good. And while we have it all clamped in, we're gonna take these 4-inch by 5-inch angle irons, put them under each side and tack them in place, and then the stacks can come off, and we're going to mag drill the holes, and then we'll weld the tabs on there, and stacks are going to go back on and be on there for a minute. All right, guys, I don't know how much of y'all saw, how much y'all got to saw or see or seesaw on time lapse. Basically, all I did was take these two 4-inch wide 5-inch by 5-inch angle irons and bolt them on and weld them on to the bottom of the pipe. We took the mag drill. I kind of set y'all up, but then Tristan and I tag team it, so we might have been in the way. But all we did was mag drill through the frame and got that bolted on. We came back in here and put in our up pipe turn that goes into the bottom of the 5x5. So that's pretty much a wrap for the smokestacks being connected. And what we're doing right now, we got a bunch of stuff in the cab plugged in, kind of mocked up. Steering cluster, instrument cluster mocked up, and We got most of the in-cab stuff except for lighting hooked up. We still don't have our radiator and all, but we dying to hear this thing run and make sure that we got our wiring in order. So Tristan's working on running some batteries. We're gonna run them on the floor just because for ease, but also I don't think I want to clutter this engine bay up with these batteries. We're probably gonna put a battery box back in the back somewhere at some future point and wire it in, you know, somewhere maybe up in this gap right here. We just trying to see if we got all of this wiring hooked back up. Tristan's been working on seat brackets. I'm sure y'all saw that in an earlier clip. We got our cluster mocked up, PCM right there, AC controls and accelerator we still working on. So but we just dying to hear these stacks you know, fire up. So we'll bring y'all along for that if we can get them going. But we got to get these batteries hooked up, catch prime out of the jug. I don't know if y'all saw that when I was back here, but we've got a jug hanging out under the truck, bungeed right here, so we can't accidentally knock it over. And we're gonna have our fill lines and stuff, suction and return lines in there. So that'll be our gas, our diesel source.
All right, folks, it's been a few month process getting to this point, but we got the engine in, all the electronicals hooked up temporarily, as you can see. We're gonna go ahead and put the fire to it, figuratively speaking, and see if we let any smoke out. Yeah. So a little nerve-wracking, but hey, that's what we do it for. So we'll go ahead and hook the batteries to it, at least see if we got any fire, figuratively speaking.
Yeah, we'll probably,
or literally.
We'll probably hook the battery charger up on the more dead one.
Yes, sir.
And we'll just jump it off and see what happens.
That's it.
We'll set up this other GoPro just in case we get a fire in the hole. Are we on regular?
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, so what we're gonna do here, we're assuming we got our wiring right. So what we're gonna do is we got the battery hots hooked up. We're gonna take the grounds one at a time and tap the ground and make sure we don't see an excessive amount of fire, which would indicate a dead short. And maybe we got to move some wires around. We kind of foobarred and forgot where our solenoid wires went, but I think we got it right. We talked it over and it made sense. So it's either going to make sense and work, or it's going to make fire. So we're going to hook the batteries up. We're going to turn the charger on, and we're going to go around and feel the hot cables and the grounds and see if anything's getting warm. Just kind of letting y'all know what to look for when you're doing the first start on something. You know, you just want to make sure nothing's short of the ground, nothing's touching something. Because again, we ran these wires out the front because we're intending on running them all the way to the back of the truck later, and into that battery box I told you about. So let's set this up where it was. We ain't got near enough juice. Yep, that ain't gonna do it.
Well, that was extremely anticlimactic.
Yeah.
But that's what happens when you're working with the stuff you got, you know?
Alright, well, we have a lack of voltage. Not a lack of voltage,
Yeah.
but a lack of voltage.
Hook bolt up to them batteries.
Yeah, boy, if you could charge off of this dog, you could probably overcharge and hurt yourself. Alright guys, trying it again. We tested one of the batteries. It had left the chat, so we had one good one left. And we're gonna try him. So let's see if she spins off this time. We on, we in negative. Alright, let's roll. Alright, Alright, we're going to turn the battery machine on the welder. And we're going to weld her up. Let's see. Alright guys,
Oh, it almost tripped something.
still got a voltage issue, so we're going to charge these batteries up and try this again another time. Alright guys, we're back on this girl. We got these 2 batteries that were kind of weak yesterday. Put them each on a 2 amp charge for half a day. And we're getting some fuel out of our spare tank. And we're going to top off the fuel in the fuel bowl. And we're going to try and spin her again and see what happens. Alright, fire in the hole.
It started popping.
Okay, I'm going to let that start to cool. So what was the 1800? It was still climbing, but okay. So that's, we build in all pressure, so we fill in the galley. The galleys are full if we see in pressure. Alright. Uh-oh. Y'all can't see that. Look by the eye beam up there. Got a little smoke. The good smoke, not the oh shit, grab the fire extinguisher smoke. Alright, well, we can't wait no more. Fire back in the hole. Oh, that's, oh, I gotta get that on camera. And why is it that it's only, and you see, that's what always made me laugh. So guys, we're only getting fuel smoke out of this stack and not this one. But yet when you come down, y'all can't see in there, that is the pipe which is on this side. Well, is what it is. We're gonna give them both barrels. We're gonna see if it's a total loss. All right, childrens, let's fire it up again. You might have to hand do the throttle a little bit. That's hilarious. It's only smoking out of one pipe, and it's the furthest pipe. And I know I cut them both. All right, fire in the hole. Fire in the hole. All right, kids. Well, we double checked our fluids. Tristan primed up the filter and the lines as best we could. So we are ready to unclamp the fuel lines and pop this old rascal off. So I tell you what, T, let's go ahead and put our ignition switch in the on and make sure, well, we should still be in neutral. And then let me start spinning it over, then you can undo your clamp. You know, that'll be that way it'll, you know, we don't lose any prime there, maybe. Can you see on the cluster if your lights is working?
Yeah, I mean, we got like 9 volts. Check engine light.
Okay, we don't have our little glow plug light thing hooked up, so we just
start display.
we're gonna let that roll for a minute and let that warm up. We don't know what our glow plug condition is. It's a little chilly this morning, but that's why we kind of want to do it this morning. If she'll pop off now with the radiator missing and some other accoutrements missing, we know we got something good to work with. All right, so we are on. You can put that on 40 for right now. And switch is on, so go ahead and get ready, and I'm gonna spin him over and you can undo your pliers. Alright, here we go. Fire in the hole. Oh, I ain't got no fire. Somebody didn't hook my power up. How you like that? Boy, you can't get no good help these days for nothing. Not like I don't know to check it. Alright. We're gonna delete that and edit it out so we don't look like morons. Ready? Take 215. Alright, here we go. Fire in the hole. If y'all remember, guys, this old mechanical pump, and the last time we started it when we picked this truck out, we started it, and then right before we started tearing it apart, we started it. So, and we're running it off a jug, so it's gonna take a little while. We're not trying not to burn out our starter. All right, guys. So what we're doing, we're hooking up the scan tool.
Would this be an automatic?
It don't matter, just pick one. What we're interested in doing is seeing if the ICP pressure is getting high enough to pop off, and if we're missing something, we're just waiting on the fuel system to prime. So we're gonna pull up a custom data stream on that and watch those numbers. Tell me when you're ready, sir, and we can span him. All right. Tell me when you monitoring, and I'm gonna spin it. If we see a 22 or 25 or 2800 spike, and we're not getting nothing, we ain't got no fuel to do, and we ain't getting no smoke yet either. So, all right, fire in the hole.
When it started popping, it was climbing.
Okay, I'm gonna let that starter cool. So what was
Went to 1800.
1800? Okay, it was still climbing, but okay. So we're building all pressure, so we're filling the galleys are full if we see in pressure. All right. Oh, she getting there. We smoking it up, boys. Only on one pipe. I still ain't figured that out. All right. Fire in the hole again. All right, we gotta let things cool a minute.
Check our fuel bowl.
Yeah, we'll check that fuel bowl one more time if you want. You want the big channel locks, the big giant ones, or that one's good?
As long as I don't break them, I guess ought to be good.
Let me go get the big ones.
Ain't that tight?
Okay. Where's your jug?
On the frame.
Okay.
I think
Man, I tell you what though. She's doing the coolest. Look at this smoke. No, look at it. It was like thick when I first said look at it. Of course you were working, so you missed it. You missed it. Yeah, we need to weld some kind of smoke ring centerpiece in there. You full?
Yep.
Yep. All right. Well, I figured we was getting fuel. Oh, let's put that down there.
Time to fill the heads.
Huh?
The bowl was completely empty when we started, so the head might be a little.
Yeah. Well, I think we still got air in the fuel. I think that first batch of fuel went to the heads, and we just don't have enough. But when you get in there this time, turn the scanner where you can see it, and then if she pops off and you need to kind of, you know how sometimes you got to give them a little throttle when they're romping, when they've been sitting a minute. But just watch and see if the scan tool is showing normal.
Glow plug it again, or?
Yeah, you could just come all the way back off and then go all the way up, and we'll wait a minute. And then you just watch that and see.
My damn scanner.
Oh,
Shouldn't have.
oh well. Then don't worry about it. You push the buttons. Is it beeping?
No.
Is it just a screen?
Nope. It ain't beeping no more.
Huh. Did it shake out of its plug?
No, tried that.
Well, I think we're close. I don't think we're going to need the scanner that much. Okay, well, we're getting smoke, but we ain't got no pulsation. So might have to go through the in and out of fuse box.
Yeah, I don't have no more check engine light.
All right, well, guys, we're gonna come
When I flipped that ignition, I flipped it to off and back on. I heard a little tink underneath
under
the hood.
All right.
And then the OBD2 went out. Wasn't really looking at it.
All right, watch your RPMs on this one. Oh, we got 2 smokes.
Oh yeah.
I still think that's absolutely crazy
Yeah.
that the far stack is chugging, but the stack right next to the damn inlet ain't chugging. I don't know, some kind of exhaust physics and...
Oh, you should have went with 8-inch pipe.
Yeah, we should have went with 8-inch. Looked like we hauling around two culverts on the back of the truck. You ready again? All right. You ready with your throttle this time a little bit?
Got it.
Okay. Fire in the hole.
We lost our scanner again.
Oh,
Back around somewhere.
well, we got to get back to checking some fuses.
Cause the service engine soon light went out on the dash, and the OBD2 went dead.
Well, I wish we could tell y'all definitively what the hell is going on. For some reason, we keep losing juice. You can turn that one on, bud, right by you. But we got it back, and we're gonna cycle the key again and glow plug him and see what she does. All right, sir, at your leisure.
And it just never. Alright, glow plugging initiated.
Yep, I'm gonna put this thing on Booyah. All right, the battery charger is now a welding machine. You ready? All right, let's see what we got. Well, we got to fiddling around, and anytime you jiggle this fuse box here, stuff was kicking on and kicking off. Come to find out, our main hot was loose right here. So we got that cleaned and shined and tightened up, and Tristan's gonna get our batteries back snug. All right, so we are 11 volts, that's good. All right, so we're glow plugging. All right, sir, if you want to monitor said data, we try this again for the umpteenth time. All right, you ready, sir?
You got ignition.
Ignition's on. You should have live numbers on the screen. Got it? All right, fire in the hole. I got no fire because my man did not connect my battery back to the hot. Boy, you got to do all this shit yourself around here, yeah.
Did that to you twice today.
I mean,
Just jerking your chain hard, just far in the
bruh,
hole.
It's just insufferable the amount of stuff they put me through over here. Make you have to go squeeze your own alligator clamp. I mean, come on. All right. You ready to blow this thing up?
I'm ready to see something.
All right, well, watch your numbers, and I'm coming on. Here we go. 80. All right, let me spin it. See if it gets. See if we got to prime that up. If it does it again, we're gonna check the res. Coming on. It's alive. Oh, we got some choochage. We got some chooch. Uh-oh. We got fire in both holes. I'm double dipping. Need to get a video here too. Turn it this way. Fire in both the holes, baby. It's alive. Anything you want to check on while we got a burn?
I want to unplug that transmission thing, see if our code comes back or.
Yeah, right now. Be hot anytime soon. Okay, hey. Kevin, turn the key back on. We're gonna try to restart. Alright. Find the hole. Got any lights or anything?
I don't have no oil pressure.
It was given an oil light anyway, but there was that oil temp oil pressure.
I mean, they got an oil jug, and it says low in H.
Well, that's your oil pressure.
It's pegged out to low.
Well, that ain't reading that.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to have low pressure oil to have high pressure oil.
Yeah, I mean, it's pressuring up because the low pressure gets filled. You can stop that. Yeah, you getting it. It's probably, you know what it probably is? It's probably a ground or something that ain't grounding that